I wanted to start off with number one on the list for you, Rob.
Well, before we go to the where, more importantly, the why.
Actually, yes. Let's go. So let's start off with the why first.
Absolutely. So, look, I'm a developer by trade, so I make my money by actually predicting where people are actually going to go.
Yep.
And that's where they're going brand spanking new, so I can create stock before they get there. So understanding where the state government is actually herding the cats is really super important.
I like that terminology. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it is herding the cats. So effectively every state government around the country plans 20 and 30 years in advance as to where people are actually going to go, because it's super expensive for them to build infrastructure projects like rails and hospitals and all those sorts of things. So what they want to do is they want to plan that far ahead, and then they use a thing called trickle-down economics to use that to actually create jobs in areas, and then the jobs are then where the population is then going to go because people want to live near where they want to work.
Every single one of these projects is in the billions apart from one.
Correct.
So I can see why there's a lot of thought that goes into it before.
Correct. And so the concept is, under trickle-down economics, is if you spend a lot of money creating a lot of jobs, people are going to start spending money in that local area. When they start spending money in that local area, that then, I guess, feeds the local economy. So I guess the newsagent starts to get some business, the local Coles get some business, Bunnings turns up, all those sorts of things start to happen. They start to employ more people, and when they start to employ more people, then people then start to move in, and then those people start to spend more money in the area, and so it starts to avalanche.
Okay, and it all comes from starting to trickle down.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay. So now that we know a little bit more about the why that I jumped over, why don't we get a little bit into the where? So what's the first pick on the list, mate?
Well, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to pull straight from the playbook of the state government regional plans all the way around the country, because they're the ones that are telling us where everything's actually going to go.
Okay.
So I guess every single state has these state government strategic plans, and they have slightly different names in every single location. But the one that comes to mind, pick of the bunch for me, is the Sydney Metro. Okay, this is a project that's currently underway at the moment. Stage 1 is already completed. Stage 2 is underway at the moment. So the Sydney Metro, I guess, is trying to enable people eventually to get to 30 minutes from anywhere in the city to get to anywhere in what is going to be the metropolis of 3 cities when it grows up.
Right, and so that's Sydney, what is it, Sydney, Parramatta and Penrith?
Correct, with Parramatta going to be the new CBD they're planning in the next 10 to 15 years.
Getting anywhere in Sydney in 30 minutes sounds pretty good to me.
Right now, that is near on impossible. However, I guess the plan, and the Metro is making that super simple. There's no schedule. You just physically turn up and go. And within 4 or 5 minutes, there is going to be another Metro train turning up. So any time of day, there's actually no schedule. You just turn up and there's going to be a train.
So we're talking like real like Japan type efficiency.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. And so as far as the why is concerned here, this is what brings you straight back to what you were just saying, because they're putting so much infrastructure or so much research into this infrastructure. They're spending so much on this that you're seeing this as like like an infill or like a pipeline of where to invest?
Well, correct. So you'll find that anywhere there's major infrastructure with transport in particular, so transport corridors and growth nodes. So a transport corridor is going to get from one very large growth node to another very large growth node. And in between, you can have all these little mini growth nodes along the way.
Okay.
And density happens all the way along those transport corridors and around those growth nodes.
Right. Okay. And this applies to all 3 on the list that you've got here?
This happens in every country and every city on the planet.
Okay. All right, man. I just wanted to dig a little bit deeper for anyone that's curious on that. But what's number 2 on the list, unless there's something else you want to say for the first one?
No. So number 2 on the list is the Melbourne Metro for the exact same reasons. $11 billion being spent here. This is connecting, I guess, Pakenham and Cranbourne into the existing train network that's actually already there. So again, enabling, I guess, the outer edges of Melbourne to get into the inner edges. That one's scheduled to complete around the 2025 mark.
Not to take us too far off topic, but the new land tax with Melbourne, you got any thoughts on that as a quickie?
Look, politically, Melbourne is really money hungry.
Yep.
They're broke. They want to tax everyone. They're doing it for the wrong reasons, and they're punishing the wrong people. They think that it's the developers who are paying. In the end, it's the ultimate buyer.
It's going to get passed on.
It's going to get passed on. So housing affordability, which is the buzzword of the world, stops being affordable when you keep adding taxes to the system. Much better to wait till it's finished and then charge them rates and land tax when it's done, rather than, I guess, taxes along the way as it's being constructed.
I very much agree with that. And the third and final one, obviously not the final on the entire list, but the final for the slice today.
Well, we've had a Sydney Metro, we've had a Melbourne Metro. Why don't we go for a Brisbane Metro?
All right.
Actually, let's not do that because the Brisbane has got a Metro, but unlike the other ones, the Brisbane Metro is actually a bus line.
It's a bus. So it's really just a road.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But they're electric buses, so, they're going to be shiny.
All right. No offense to anyone in Brizzy. I do love Brizzy, but that's not a metro.
No. So for Brisbane, my pick of the stand for Brisbane is the Cross River Rail. That's a $5.4 billion project there.
Cross River Rail.
That's going to connect north and south, I guess linking all of the different transport networks that are already in existence, existing train stations, the existing bus network that's already pretty good in Brisbane, but then the Brisbane Metro as well. So they're all going to interconnect and I guess you'd be able to get anywhere from anything. The same theme in all places, transport. So how do we get people from work to home and return?
Gotcha. Well, and if you guys are interested in getting every other detail, or every other DA, I should say, on the list, click the link in the show notes below and you can download the booklet to find out a little more, because there is billions of dollars being spent in Australia right now. And I think if you can follow what do they say? Success leaves clues. And I think infrastructure of this size also leaves a few clues on where to go as well.
Absolutely.
Rob Flux from Property Developer Network, thank you so much for jumping on the show, mate.
You're welcome, Todd.